My name is Phil Oxendine, Aphasia Phil, and I approve this message. So, my name is Philip Oxendine, Aphasia Phil, and first I lived in Swickley, Pennsylvania. It's in Pittsburgh, but I had my stroke in Philadelphia. Before I had a stroke, my job was I had tablets and phones for people with SNAP benefits, SSI, and people who didn't have money. That's what I did in the beginning. Then I woke up. I was in a hospital. Um, I didn't know what a hospital. I didn't know what I was doing, but I know as a hospital it was me. So I said something's wrong with me. Um, the first person I talked to was my cousin, and I didn't know what was going on, but it was my cousin, and as you can see, I wasn't really talking clearly. I thought I was, um, and I didn't talk to my mom. My mom was there the whole time, and she my mom apparently because I don't know what's going on. My mom said I'll look at her and go, "Grr." And she sounds very feral because I was what I'll do sometimes. I had mittens and gloves, and I'll get IVs out there and all the time. So I was feeling feral, like I didn't know what's going on. But my mom was there the whole time. She laughs about a lot. She laughs a lot of things. But anyway, so when I was about to go to my next place, it's the first time I knew who my mom was. Is it? You're my mom, and we left. I was my the first place I was in was Jefferson Hospital. Then the next place I went to was Bryn Mawr in Philadelphia. Bryn Mawr was a nice place, a really nice place. The staff is nice, the people are nice. Um, in the beginning, um, I didn't really talk too much because I didn't know what I was saying. And something I always wanted to know that people who have a stroke like I did, they also I forgot to say this. I had a cranial sub scar. So my scar was in a shelf in Jefferson. So I had a helmet all the time, a real helmet all the time. So when I was in Bryn Mawr, I said people are really nice. For some reason, I always wondered. I don't know why, but people cussed a lot. when I, but I was like this. Fuck you, hi. I was I was laughing, but I didn't know I was cussing a lot. But I had a but before I was in Jefferson, I had an infection. So I had to go back to Jefferson and I had an infection and they had an infection out and I had have staples in my arm. And then I came back to Bryn Mawr. And I can talk a little clearer. I still know I think I was talking, but obviously I wasn't. And I remember I said, this is not going to be the death of me. I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know what it is, but this is going to not to be the death of me. So, and I was thinking, I'm an athlete, so I'm able to link my arms and legs and do all this stuff, right? And I said, I can do this. But my speech teacher, I forgot her name, I said, oh, something's wrong right here. There's a disconnect here because I'm talking to you and you're talking to me. And I can see what you're saying, but what I'm saying is not making any sense. Like, oh, that's me. Then is the first time I remember that I need to help. I need help because I found out this is me. That's not you. This is me. I'm the problem. So the first time I really listened to what they're saying, and that's why the speech teacher was my best friend because I remember that I want to be able to talk. And in the beginning, it was like saying I look at something like dog and I'm looking at a girl, like, but I knew that I was getting better. So the place in Bryn Mawr, the way it was in Bryn Mawr, they make sure your brain was active all the time. So my mom couldn't be there. My mom's there the whole time. So the whole time. So and then every in the morning and night you can be there all time, and my mom can be there in the afternoon. That's it. So activities all the time. So I really got better, a little better. Um, but then I had to go to another place. I had to grade me down in another place, and it was Westgate. And I'm gonna tell you this. It was a shithole. It was a shithole. I mean, it wasn't a rehab place. We had a rehab facility in there, but it wasn't a rehab place. Westgate is really bad. In the beginning, I was scared because I didn't know what's going on, and there was a nurse. Her name was B. I love her to death. She goes, "Do you know people think you're mute?" I said, "I'm mute." I mean, I know that I can't talk as clear as I was before, even then now, but I know it's mute because it means you can't be able to talk. I don't understand. And so what I do sometimes, people would talk to me and I say, "Hey, my name's Phil. I'm trying to talk to you." And people weren't even talking to me at all. Um, I found out that place was the place was a place where people to die there. That's what it was. That's what it was. But the rehab place, they were my saviors. Um, one of the speech pathologists was Casey. She let me do apps, and so in the morning I would go downstairs and get some food and go downstairs, and I was there the whole time. And then they had OT, PT, and speech. And they knew that I was trying to get better. My mom was there all the time, but I knew that this was not to be the end of me. But I don't know what it was in Pennsylvania, but I ran out of money and we had to re-up. So, but said, I don't care. You just go downstairs every day and do everything you can do to get better. So the people were really nice. And that's when I found out that even though Weststate is really good and Bryn Mawr is good for the rehab place, they were here to help to try to get better. That's their goal. I mean, and so a lot of times, even though I didn't have, let's say someone had a patient who didn't come, she said, "Okay, you want to run?" She'll say they gave me time to run and do anything I need to do, just so you know I get better. So, the thing about that place was like it's really bad, but the rehab place was really good. So it was time to leave. It was time to get my skull back in my hand again. So back to Westgate. I mean Jefferson. And I don't know what my mom got this going on, but we got back to Bryn Mawr again. It was like safe haven, like, oh, it's Bryn Mawr again. And so I can talk a little clearer. And I said, and in the beginning, it was the second time in Bryn Mawr again. I can talk, but I wasn't cussed anymore. I said, like you, me, and you, and then remember my name. Because apparently I talk a lot for people, even if I'm not saying anything. So I was in for Bryn Mawr again for another 2 or 3 weeks. My mom doesn't know the time because the time was just a time, But it was time for me to go to my mom's house in Dayton, Ohio. It's called Vandalia, Ohio. Um, so I was then there, and the next rehab place I was in was Premier Health. Their names were Chris, Kendra, and Chelsea. Chris and Kendra were my OT and PT. I love them to death. But Chelsea, she was my speech pathologist. And from the beginning, she was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, What do you mean I want to do? I want to be able to read and write like everyone else. Like, who wanted to do that? So, okay, so what do you want to do? I was like, what do I want to do? Like, I said, you know what? I don't write a book because so much happened to me before I had a stroke. When I have a stroke, then I'm gonna write a book. So she goes, okay. So can you just say your ABCs? I said, of course I say my ABCs. So I said, A B C D. I said, okay, fine. Can you write it? I said I can write. So with my right hand, my left hand, I was writing, and I couldn't remember how to write at all. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know reading and writing are two different things. I never thought about it. She goes, well, we can start with that. It's like, okay. Um, it was for me, it was a level. Every time I'm doing something different, it's getting better. But I was like, wow, I can't even read or write. Okay, we had a lot of stuff to do. So we had a lot of stuff to do. And then every year we have like after 4 or 5 weeks, we had a lull. So listen, I know you want to get better, Jesse. So I want you to get in a group. That's what a group it is. It's a group for people for aphasia. I don't even know what aphasia is. I don't know what it is. I just know I want to get better. So I was there for 2 or 3 days. I said, let's see what this Zoom meeting is about. And it was Chelsea. It was Ali 101, Aphasia 101. And I said, I didn't know there's other people like me. I thought it was me. There's a lot of people in there. And it's virtual connections. And I can tell you I was hooked from the beginning. Because I want to know what's happening to me so I can get better. And if you haven't done a video or a Zoom for virtual connection, it usually goes like this. My name's Phil. I have aphasia, blah, blah, blah. And usually it's in smaller groups and you know a bigger group. When you go to a big group and a smaller group, and those you talk about. And in the beginning, I was in every Zoom I could get on because I want to get better. But then after a while, I wasn't getting bored. I said, no, is there anything to talk about? And this is for Lucy because it's a nurse showdown. So, one time we in a small group, and in the same group in virtual connection, I knew the people all the time, and we were talking. We had nothing to talk about. I said, okay, I have a question for you. As you can tell right now, I'm very vocal anyway. And I said, has anyone seen the video for Hello by Lionel Richie? So Lionel Richie, yes, Lionel Richie, Hello. Yeah. And my friend Lucy, hi Lucy, yeah. I said, he's a stalker, right? So he's a stalker. Yes, he's a stalker. And if you ever seen the video from Lionel Richie, Hello, he's a stalker. Like, what happens to him? First of all, he's a teacher, and he's in a hallway, and he wants this girl to see him say hello, and the other time he's in a room, and he's blind too. I said, you can't do that to other people. So it was like 2 or 3 weeks, and I saw Lucy again. She goes, oh my God, he is a stalker. I said, I know. Like, who does that? So I now listen. You don't have to tell me about Lionel Richie, but when I started seeing is what do people do when they're groups? What do they do outside the hall? What do you talk about? And then I found out people are just people with aphasia in it. And so I said, okay, when I'm gonna do this. So what I want to do, I said, the first thing I want to do, I went to how to get on YouTube. And now I have my own channel because I found out that people are just people with something that happened to them. And I wanted people to tell their stories. When I look in YouTube and in general, a lot of times it's for speech teachers or students or doctors is saying like, hey, "This is Phil," and he has a face like, "I have a face." Hey, I was like, "That's great," but we want to talk to other people like us. You know what I mean? Not a speech teacher or the student. We're talking with each other. So me and a lot of people, Lucy too, and Carrie, and a lot of people's in it already. And I said, that's what I want to do with other people. I want to talk about your stories. Because I knew there's something than just talking about every time. My name is Phil, and I'm Aphasia, and I like cars. Some of this, so that's why That's why I did my own channel. Then National Aphasia Association. Now I forgot in the beginning. I didn't know a National Aphasia Association was a thing. I just know virtual connections. I said, okay, it's run my alleyway. So now I am an ambassador for National Aphasia Association. And the goal is for me, I want to people tell other people's stories. So they talk about each other. Because even though everyone is aphasia, it's an umbrella. There's a lot of people's stories. And it's really good because for me, it's the first time in my life in a long time I have a purpose to tell other people's stories, and so that way they talk about what they want to talk about, and understand you're not alone. It's hard, but you have support groups, and that's why I did what I do now. Ta-da!
Greatly done. Excellent.
Very well done.
Great.
Good job.